Day one on the podcast, right? Off season, welcome. All right, I'm not gonna lie, I got jitters in me. This is day one.
We just cut and restarted because the first one we did was so ass. Like, it was bad.
It was.
I sounded like a car salesman.
It was bad.
Go ahead, bro.
We got my boy Gabe here. My dog Gabe Neighbors, close friend of mine. I could not be happier to have you as a co-host on the show, me as your co-host on the show. We got that boy Bert behind the scenes here. All right. I mean, I'm excited. I'm nervous as fuck. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but yeah, because this is
uncharted waters.
It is, bro.
Uncharted waters.
But the thing is, like, we started talking about this a few months ago when we reconnected for training, right? And like, this is kind of like, it's transitioned way more than when we first talked about. You know what I mean? The show itself is going to be way different than what our first thoughts for the show were going to be.
Oh, facts. Like, we started talking about it like in a joking capacity. Mm-hmm. It's all me and you do.
I know.
Like, talk shit to each other, joke.
I know.
And like, but now we're here, and it's like,
okay, now we're here.
Exactly. It's kind of like, you know, we talked about it for so long. We got the setup how we like it, and we got the lights. We got Bert behind the camera.
Light camera action comes on.
And so
it's like deer in headlights, and that's not usually my MO, you know? I got Bert's face behind staring at me, and it's like I'm getting distracted by him. I got you over here. I know you're getting ready to say something slick to me. I'm like, here we fucking go. This show's not even going to be serious at all.
That's what I'm here to do.
Okay, so accountability is part of what we talk about for sure. But don't act like you're about to hold me accountable. This guy drives he drives an M4.
Real life application. There will be a lot of accountability on the podcast. Anyways.
Here's something I do want to kind of talk about in regards to off season, right? Because like the show itself, some of the things that we really need to touch point on and like really like connect with the audience about is like, what is going on here? Why are we doing this? What do we want to talk about? What gaps are we trying to bridge? And I think it's the coolest thing about what you and I have is while we are different in a lot of areas, we have so many similarities, which is why you and I mesh and vibe so well. And like, honestly, dude, like, I could not be happier that like I met you when we first started training, but like it grew into like a really awesome friendship, you know? And I remember like, let's see, we started training back in, I think 2018 when you were at Florida State, and you know, Gabe, he was just a little guy, you know, super small dude.
Like I probably was like 5'10", you know, snapback with like Ray-Bans.
God,
like
dude.
180. Had on like a wife beater.
So now he's trying to describe me as a dick, and that's all right.
Bro, my man,
that's all right. It's all right, bro.
No, bro, I was just big. I was strong.
You were no, I'm not gonna lie.
Big and strong, but I wasn't like I could play the position I played well, like fullback, like being a fullback, like, you know, just like blocking and stuff, standard blocking and like all those things. But really, when I was ready to upgrade my game, be more like athletic in a sense, like that's how me and you
when you came in, dude. Like when I first met you, it was around the time for your pro day.
Yeah.
And I remember because I was training Trey McKitty at the time, and I don't know if you came there because of Trey or if like because you met with Ben Farrell.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, dude, this guy's a specimen because you were a big dude, and I was like, watching your mechanics, your biomechanics were good. Like you moved fluidly, but I remember
all together.
I wanted to go do routes with you one day to kind of showcase, because I knew that at the combine and at your pro day, they were going to see if you knew how to catch, because the NFL is changing constantly with versatility in the athletic position. And you know more than anybody, like, what are they doing now with the running backs? Just like kind of segueing away from, they're not giving these guys what they're worth. So I wanted to make sure like how you moved. And we were out there with Noonie, and I was like, Gabe, bro, we got to work on these routes, my guy, because these are looking rough.
It was like kind of like foreign to me too. I mean, most of the stuff I was doing at the time was like flat routes or like OTB, like over the ball stuff. Like other than that, but like the fine tune, like the more like savvy technical stuff that you see like more skilled tight ends and receivers doing, like that was like not like completely foreign, but it was just not my forte. Like and so I definitely think that was like one of the main things that like seeing you know, coaching and training these guys, these receivers, like I was like, if I can at least do half of what this guy's teaching these guys, like, then it might benefit me. But that was the other thing, like you said with Ben, like when I went down there to train with them, like they didn't have any idea I was coming there, and they weren't planning on training anyone for like pro days and stuff like that. But like from the first day they saw me, they ran me through like a rough
Yeah.
a rough just a rough draft of what my pro day would look like.
Yeah.
And I ran like a 40. I did a jump, and like
It's like a pre-test.
5 minutes after I finished all the testing, they were like, "Yeah, we'll train you. Like we'll
Your assessment was good.
we'll hook something up." He
It
was like,
checked out,
yeah.
dude. Your assessment was
And
good.
so that was cool. But then also like that just goes to show you like the other things that it takes to be a pro and like play in the league. Like that's kind of how me and you got.
Yeah, I mean, I know like when I started out, like I was lucky enough to play in the Arena League. You know, I was lucky enough to have an opportunity with the CFL. Like things, worked out for me. And then when I transitioned into strength and conditioning, like is when my career really flourished, because I kind of got baptized by fire very quickly and was able to train things that people wait years to do, you know? So I was able to like kind of like adjust on the fly at a young age. But back to you.
Were you like ready to get behind the whistle? Did like some coach like
I will say this,
like,
bro.
Are you where you're like, as soon as I'm done, I'm getting behind this whistle and I'm taking it out on.
Well, the thing is like when you get out of
like we were like, bro, in the beginning of us training, I'd be like, yo, this guy's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He's not that big, so like he keeps trying my shit. Like
yeah, right. Well, like I was always like leading has always been like in my blood. Right?
Yeah.
I've always been a leader. I've always never been afraid to take that role. But I've always cared about helping, giving back. Like the biggest thing is like at the end of the day, when I go up and I meet my maker and I meet the Lord, how do I want to be remembered after, right?
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that like my principles are like I made people better. That's huge for me, right?
Yeah.
So I made like when you and I came in contact, I was like, how can I help Gabe? I want to make sure that I can do everything I can that way. When he makes it, like it's cool to have a small piece in your success, right?
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's you. It's not me. It's you. So I remember we went out there to the field house to go do routes, and I was like, oh, boy, we got work on these, dog.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, you make it to the Chargers. You get signed for 2 years. You have a great career there. And then press hits us up, because the whole point behind press is like, let's take elite strength and conditioning coaches with elite athletes and connect and like really capture this amazing connection between the two.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I got the perfect guy I want you to shoot us with. And it was you.
Yeah.
And I hit you up and you're like, dude, I'm game. Let's go. And I remember getting done with the first day and watching you do routes. And I was like, wow, bro, my little brother has really grown up. He is really
Little big brother. Little big brother.
little big bro has really flourished, dude. I mean, Bert, let's be real, bro. Like you were out there, you saw the routes, they were clean. I mean, you weren't there from the beginning of it, but like, bro, they've cleaned up tremendously.
Oh man, I mean, we joke, but yeah,
You could play slot.
I feel more comfortable just across the board, like doing anything that requires more skill and because a lot of people, they don't understand what it takes to be a route runner.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
these
Dude.
guys in the league that can make these routes and make these plays, like people don't truly understand that.
Right.
And even for me, like trying to do like half of that, like I said, like just being half of what like an elite route runner is.
Yeah.
Like people don't understand that. So I definitely think that's like something of like pure value that you definitely helped to implement into my game. And so obviously, you say you're thankful that we got to do all this stuff, but like obviously I'm super.
Oh, I appreciate it, bro.
Likewise, bro. Likewise.
I don't get that much from you, but I appreciate it, bro.
But yeah, in terms of the press, I mean, one thing I will say about you, if I have to rag on you a little bit now that I've complimented you,
I'm here.
something I might have to rag on you for though is that, bro, this man is notorious for not telling me what we're doing when we work out, bro. I'll hit him up and he'll be like, oh yeah, just bring shoes. I'm like, where are we going? What are we doing, bro? I get there, they're like, we're gonna get an ice bucket and then we're gonna go run routes after we squat. I'm like, bro, I didn't bring cleats. You just told me to bring shoes. The first day we did press, he was like, yeah, we're just gonna do some like, a little bit of change direction stuff. Like just bring some tennis shoes, all gonna be light. Bro, like 12 minutes into that workout, I was like about to throw up.
Dude, this dude's legs were breaking down.
I ate a whole thing of like, I don't know where it was like, I ate like some Chinese food like an hour before, and I was literally like,
yeah, that was
in the middle of the workout, like, bro, this is not gonna
A couple weeks ago was hilarious. So like a couple weeks ago, we went down to train with Phil DeRue, and shout out my boy Phil.
Oh, the goat.
And
the goat, for
the
sure.
goat, man. He is the goat. This dude is a genius. If you don't know who Phil DeRue is, you've been living under a rock. So I went down there and I'm like, hey, Phil, like Gabe's coming in today. And he's like, all right. And I was like, he wants to do upper body today. And he's like, okay. And I remember you came in and we had like the cold plunge set up for you to do, and we're like, hey, so like we're gonna get you in here and we're gonna work on like sympathetic like breathing techniques with
all this stuff that just flies over my
head. Bro.
I'm like, yeah.
We had
what's the running gonna be?
Yeah, we had White Jesus out.
How much sprinting am I gonna be doing?
Ice Jesus was out there with us, so it was great. So like,
shout out Ice Jesus.
Shout out Ice Jesus. This guy is a genius. So we get out there to go into the cold tub, and this cold tub, first of all, it isn't even on, okay? But this asshole gets in it and is like, and like gets in and deserved a Grammy for acting it out, right? Because we thought it was on the whole time. And Phil's over there and he's like, Griff, that boy's got heart, man. He's strong. Like he's not even shivering. I'm like, I know, dude. Like that. What's that cold? We go over and touch the water, and it's like room temperature warm.
Well, not even that, but it was also like we had like done like I don't know, like probably 10 minutes of like B-roll, like just like sitting there like
talking about it.
Yeah, we're just like Ice Jesus had like spilled out all this information for like 3 minutes straight, and I'm sitting here like acting like it's cold, and then I'm sitting here like panicking because I'm like, it's not cold, but like we're already 5 minutes into
What a soothing voice he has too, bro. I mean, like I need to get his page up so we can shout him out, because this guy's a genius, bro. That guy's
cut it real quick. You got some in your teeth. You got like cigar stuff. You got it? I can't have you looking crazy on
Appreciate you, and that's love.
All right, pick it back up from
Ice Jesus.
But yeah, bro, that guy, I mean, speaking of professional.
Avi, bro. Avi Greenberg.
The GOAT. Breathing
dude.
specialist.
Functional breath work and stress optimization. This guy is a genius.
Well, he worked with Wim Hof, which is like, that's crazy.
Yeah, bro.
I remember when we were talking about it, you said you knew of him, but not anything crazy.
Because he was the guy who went under this thing with the government where he was like, oh, okay, like, you don't think that what I do as breathing techniques can like cure diseases? He's like, inject me with E. coli. And they're like, okay. And he like...
That's what he said to you?
Not that, yeah, he told me that the guy got injected with the virus, and because of his breathing techniques, never had any symptoms from it, never got sick. And they're like, oh, you're just a freak. And he's like, I'll tell you right now, you give me 7 students, however many students, I'll take them under the same shit, and they won't get it either. And he did that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and it's crazy too, because like I knew of him because of the breathwork stuff, but also like the cold plunge therapy and all the like the stuff he does with cold.
Yeah.
Like exposing the body to like the cold is crazy. Also with the breathwork, like when I was in California, like there was guys on the team who knew about him too, and like some of the stuff with his breathing techniques, like the breathing practices, you can hold your breath for like 5 minutes if you do it correctly.
Well, dude, I'm watching it, and like, you know, I train, like I've worked with guys in Delta, I've worked in guys with Ranger Regiment, I've worked, you know, I train like law enforcement special operations units. Like I've worked with guys and learned different, you know, breathing strategies. So I'm watching him, and he was like feeling all over like your abdomen floor for like, he was like, yeah, there's other areas in your gut and abdomen floor like where you can hold oxygen. And I remember you got up and you're like, dude, I feel like drunk right now.
Yeah, just all the oxygen going to the brain.
Guys, today's podcast of off season is sponsored by 10 Performance Supplements. Everything that I give my athletes is 10 Performance. It is the leanest and cleanest stuff on the market. You're not going to run the risk of flow agents. You're not going to run the risk of preservatives or GMOs. I'm always giving them the protein powder. The second thing on that list is the Deer Velvet product. All right, this is going to help with muscle growth, muscle stamina. This is going to help with your REM sleep, your recovery state. This is a key ingredient that I give to all my athletes. And the last thing, all right, is the Pro Hydrate, extra form of hydration. It's getting down to a cellular level. So guys, if you are trying to be a big specimen, be stronger, faster in any sport, and you want to look like this guy, get on your 10 Performance Supplements now.
Well, I mean,
why are we here? What are we doing?
Well, first of all, like I said, we want to be able to talk to people about that, bridging that gap, right? About transitions in life. You and I have both gone through transitional phases, you know, playing football and then moving into a new career path. That's difficult. That can be challenging for a lot of people, you know, and it can be daunting for a lot of athletes who have known one thing their entire career.
Yeah.
You know, so I can tell you, like, for me, when I decided to hang the cleats up and get into strength and conditioning, Dude, it was scary because I didn't know really what I was getting into. I didn't know how to have success. I didn't know how to make money. I just kind of got baptized by fire, and it ended up working out because I got to experience a lot of things very early on. You know, my opportunities came early. So I was very fortunate and blessed in that respect.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of people who just trusted me because I was producing results and I wasn't a yes man. You know, I had no problem telling you that form looked like shit, and if you wanted to compete at an average level, stay do what you're doing. But if you want to be optimal and you want to be efficient, you should do this.
Yeah.
You know, but like with you, you know, like you were in the NFL, you did that for 2 years. Now you're like realize like you're getting to a point in your life, you're like, okay, I can't do football forever.
Yeah.
You know, so like, what has that transition been like for you?
Well, I think that's like pretty much the whole premise of why we wanted to start this podcast in general was we both came from the same, like, you know, background. Like, we both played ball, we both had success. And now, like, one of us has, like, kind of figured out what he wants to do long term and is, you know, killing it at that. But, like, for me, like, one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this podcast was, you know, to shed light on, you know, what other people might be feeling that, you know, either might be coming from playing professional sports, maybe you never even got a shot, you're out of college and you still don't know what you want to do, or just the average everyday person. Like, everyone goes through seasons of life. Everyone, you know, has highs and has lows.
Beautifully put.
And I don't necessarily feel like I'm in a low point in my life, but I would say, like, it's definitely something that doesn't get talked about as much. Like, obviously they try to do like post-career, like, seminars, and they do like all these things to try and like help guys get to the next point. But in terms of like what we're here to do, like what we're here to talk about, I feel like it's just good to be real and to like open up the platform for, you know, people who might be not sure what they want to do next.
Yeah.
Might have, you know, made $10 million, because you can have money and not have purpose.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing is like when you give in your whole life to a sport, football specifically for me and you, like you're told how to do things, when to do them, and like your whole life is like pretty much like categorized and organized for you. And then once you're away from that, and once you're not making that money anymore, once all the lights are gone, and you're, you know, back on the even playing field with everyone else, now it goes from being like physically draining to like mentally draining. Like being able to be confident, being able to like, you know, put yourself out there, network with people. And if it's your calling, start a business, things of that nature. But that's kind of the whole thing that we're here to like kind of uncover, like bridging the gap, like you said.
Not often are you poetic, but you saying that everyone has different seasons of their life.
Come on, bro.
Kind of struck home with
Hurry up, Bert.
Right? That was
Come
good.
on, bro.
I mean,
we need to get the.
that was yeah. Oh, we need to get that. That was clever, right?
Me too, but
no, that's true though. Everyone does have these different seasons of life, and I think that's the thing about off season, right? Like, you flip that around, and it's like season off, and it's like, okay, how are we gonna transition from what we've known for a long time to a new area, uncharted territory? How do we get there?
Yeah, and also like create value for people who are watching this. Like create almost like a community where people can see, like, if you're in the same boat, whether you play football or whether you work in a 9-to-5 and you don't know what, and you might have some money saved up, or you work in a 9-to-5 and you don't know what you want to do next.
Yeah.
Like bridging the gap and like, you know, being open and honest about some of the stuff we've gone through. Because I remember, like, we'll have plenty of stories to talk about. Like one of the first things you told me, like, because we were having these conversations again, like one of the first things you told me was, you know, Gabe, when I got done playing, I tried to go get a 9-to-5, or like I tried to go work for somebody else. And like that, you told me right off the bat, like that's on me.
Wasn't for me, dude.
And some people, like that's one thing that like I feel like a lot of football players deal with, is because like you go from like you're making a lot of money,
hell yeah, to making nothing,
but you're still working for someone. You know what I'm saying? Like someone's still telling you what to do. Someone's still like organizing and like planning out your day. Like you have a schedule, you got lifts, you got meetings, you got all this stuff. Same thing in the real world. You got to be at the office. You got to do this. You have these meetings, everything. When you get done with football and now you're back out in the world on your own.
Yeah, dude.
Are you going to be a person who works for someone? Are you going to be a person that you're going to, you know, have your own business and work for yourself?
Yeah.
And what's interesting is a lot of the times, like some of the things that I've struggled with, like for the past couple months, is like, and why I'm like honestly thankful that we started this podcast, is like, I know that I want to work for myself. I know I want to start something meaningful and create value for people. But up until like a couple weeks ago, before we started talking about this and started talking about this podcast and like what could actually, be realistic, like I was having the same thoughts. Like,
yeah, man.
What am I passionate about outside of what I've done for the past 15 years? Because like hobbies are not necessarily always the same thing as passions.
Right. You're
like,
kind of trashing.
Oh, I love doing this. Yeah, like I'm not gonna go pro playing. Like I'm not gonna be on the PGA tour. Like, definitely not doing that. But
no, but it's you're touching base on things that a lot of people go through, and it is hard, man. But it's not to say that it can't be done.
No, facts. And I think exposing like that part of our lives to people will like create a sense of relativity. Like they'll be like, oh, these guys are going through it too. Like I was a former NFL player. Like I played for 2 years. I achieved my childhood dream. Yeah. And now I'm starting to realize, like you said, football is not forever. I can train, I can work hard, I can be ready, I can be waiting on teams to call my phone.
Right.
But what am I doing in the meantime for myself? What am I doing to build my brand? What am I doing to build my business? If that's what I want to do.
But like, you're touching base on it from the standpoint of, okay, like how do we get started? Because we're used to having a full structured outline, and one thing that I've learned that's helped me is like, okay, while I might be in charge of my own career and I might be my own boss, I can't do it alone. And the smartest thing I ever did was getting people that were smarter than me to work with me about stuff. Yeah. Right? Like you're a great example. Like we started doing this podcast. It's not like you and I had experience doing podcasts or hosting podcasts, and I was really relying on you. Like, all right, Gabe, like what are some things that you think might be great to touch base on? Yeah. And you crushed it, right? So in that aspect, like I think as men, a lot of the time we are, hey, we need to figure this out. We need to be strong on this regard, and like we need to just have all of our shit and our ducks in order. That doesn't mean you can't ask for help. That doesn't mean you can't go looking for success. Like success leaves clues. Tony Robbins says that. Like who is being successful and where you are trying to go. Okay, ask questions. Be around people that are smarter than you to help get you to where you want to be. Yeah,
but I think the even bigger thing. And all that is like amazing what you just said, because I mean, me and you have talked also about like your network, and I like I was telling you on the first cut.
Yeah, because that was terrible.
We might need to post like little clips of the first cut so we can show people how car salesy
that was not good.
But like I was saying in the first cut, it's not who you know, it's who knows you.
Right.
And but I think even bigger than that, it all starts with, do you know yourself? Mm-hmm. Outside of sports, do you know who you want to be when you're done playing? Do you want to own real estate? Do you want to, like,
whatever?
It could be whatever, but the whole thing is like, do you know what you want to do? Because you've been up to this point doing what everyone around you is telling you to do. Like, obviously, playing in the NFL is an extreme accomplishment, like statistical anomaly almost. Like, but after that's all gone, like, what are you going to be doing for yourself? Like, what is it? What's your identity going to be after that? And so that's thing. I think when we talk about like what we're here to talk about, I think that's going to be a main topic. I want to obviously share like success stories. Yeah. Eventually, we want to be able to have like guests on the show
for sure,
and like highlight some people.
Decent lineup too.
Yeah. No, definitely, and have some people that are still playing. Maybe have some people that have now made like career changes or done playing, and they moved on and started their own businesses to be able to give viewers, to give other people who are playing in the league now who might feel like they've only got so much time left, or to give guys who are done playing like maybe motivation to be able to see like, all right, there's light on the other end of the tunnel. Like there's something that I can create for myself if I want that. Like if I want to,
All right, so I want to be real with you. We're about to get real with Bert here because Bert's going to hear it and everyone who watches is going to hear it. I'm going to ask you first and then I'm going to go. I want to know the one time you were like, damn, I just got exposed like a mother in football.
Oh. First time I got exposed.
Where you were just like,
Oh, that was bad.
you're like,
Like that,
damn.
like, oh, that was bad.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this on film. You know what's crazy too is like the saying is like there's always like that saying it was like it never looks as good as you think it did or it never looks as bad. Like
yeah.
you pancake someone in the moment you might be like,
That was awesome,
oh
bro.
like you're like, and then you stand up and you're flexing and then you get in like film and like coach is like, all right, nice job, next play.
Yeah.
But like if you mess up,
Yeah.
he's like just rewinding and you're like slowly sinking.
You're like Mr. Go 30 moment.
into your chair.
Dude, that guy crashed me up.
I don't know, bro. It's like I've gotten exposed a couple times. There's a few. I mean, but the first time I got exposed like bad was in college.
In college?
Yeah, I tried to run out on a fake field goal, bro. I don't even know why they called it. It was in practice. It was like, you know how like you go through like warm-ups and then like they have the field goal team come out?
Yeah.
We were just doing like place kicks from like different spots with like the field, like so getting reps. And like they called like a fake field goal to see if the defense was like paying attention. And I ran out to the flat and like the snapper threw me like a low ball. I caught it, and as soon as I turned, Derwin James came up and just
Smacked it.
destroyed me. And I literally was like laying on the ground sideways. I was laying on the ground sideways, and I was like a freshman in college. I was like, damn, so this is what it's like.
All right. You just got clapped.
Bro, it was so bad. It was so bad. I was just like, dude. And this is like what I thought we were.
Did you hold on to the ball?
Oh, of course. But it was
Okay,
like.
that's all that mattered. That's all that mattered. Finish.
I was like, I'm glad this happened out here and not in a game, bro.
Yeah. That sucks, dude.
Yeah.
That's rough.
That's a wrap on the first episode of Off Season Podcast. If you guys enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to the channel. We'll have Bert throw up our socials on the screen. And if you guys like what you see, tune in for the next one.